Marc Hinton, goodish year or bad year? Next month will decide that for All Blacks. Marc Hinton, goodish year or bad year? Next month will decide that for All Blacks. Kieran Reid's All Blacks were an eyesore in Brisbane. Will things improve on tour? Opinion: by their standards, the All Blacks are in free fall. Just how emphatic their correction is on this November tour will likely define their year. With 2 defeats and a draw, this already shapes as the worst statistical season for the back-to-back world champions since Graham Henry's Annus Horribilis in 2009 when they lost 4 times, including 3 straight to the dreaded Springboks. For the first time since Steve Hansen took charge in 2012, the All Blacks have lost multiple tests in a calendar year. More to the point, after a fabulous post-RWC season in 2016, blighted only by the Irish ambush in Chicago, there has been a hint of vulnerability about the world's #1 rugby side. Brodie Retallick's absence is a challenge for the All Blacks on their northern tour. The British and Irish Lions exposed them brutally, and beautifully, in a fabulously competitive series in June and July, in which the 2 teams could not be split, with a victory apiece and a controversial draw in the Eden Park decider. Then, after waltzing through another undefeated rugby championship, the All Blacks hit the Bledisloe banana skin in Brisbane last Saturday night with a flat performance which suggested they took their eyes badly off the ball. This Wallabies outfit is simply not good enough to make the world champs look as ordinary as they did that evening. So now we come to November, and the final 3 tests of the year, against France, Scotland and Wales. Is it just me, or does all of a sudden that lineup look just a little scary? There are certainly no panic buttons being depressed in the All Blacks. Yes, they were below par against the Lions. But it was a very, very good composite outfit representing the best of a booming British and Irish game. And the Wallaby wobble? Well, with a half-dozen frontliners marked absent, and the Bledisloe tucked away, hindsight suggests the All Blacks turned up on a slippery night, metaphorically and literally, with less than the focus required. They were all over the shop, and paid the price. So I get nervous about France, Scotland and Wales, you might ask? None probably even make it into the top 2 of the North's most feared sides, England and Ireland, surely. Well, that list of players unavailable to tour is probably as good a place as any to start. The All Blacks are without some pretty important firepower in Joe Moody, Owen Franks, Brodie Retallick, Jordy Barrett, Israel Tagg, Nee Milner-Skudder and Ben Smith for this tour. That's 3/5 of a first-choice All Black tied 5 marked absent, and should have those northern foes rubbing their hands in anticipation. If there's one thing they know how to do up there, it's set piece. Hansen is understandably phlegmatic about the tied 5 challenge. And very much about supping from the glass that is half full. We don't have any option, so we just look at it as an opportunity for the other guys to stand up and be exposed to that, he told me after unveiling his traveling squad of 37, that includes a nod to the future in the form of 20-year-old Wellington hooking sensation Isifo Omua. Northern Hemisphere rugby is different, no doubt about that, and how we're going to handle it will be interesting. But what I do know is come the end of the season, regardless of the results, we've exposed a lot of people who probably wouldn't have been exposed unless we had the injuries we've had, and they've grown and we will have learned. We've had some adversity which this team hasn't had a lot of since 2012, and that's good for us. Still, one more defeat would turn a middling to halfway decent sort of year into something rather disappointing, which is where the looming tour gets interesting. Especially without Ryklick there, as the talismanic lock is rightly given all the time he needs to deal with the family tragedy that he and wife Nikki are working through. As a rule, the All Blacks don't cope the best when Ryklick is away. So far this year the big man has missed 3 tests, one of which was a defeat. Last year the only match he sidestepped, the All Blacks lost in Chicago. In 2014 he was marked absent for 2 games, one of which was a defeat, to the Boks in Joburg. In fact, in the 68 tests Ryklick has had for the All Blacks, only 3 of them have ended in defeat. But he's not there on this tour, and that means Scott Barrett has to be more than a super sub, and Patrick Tuipulotu or Luke Romano must also rise to the occasion. And maybe Sam Whitelock rediscover his Crusaders form. It's not being alarmist to say the All Blacks are at a precipice. Another defeat, against a Northern lesser light, and their stock plunges dramatically. But finish with 3 emphatic, impressive performances, and throw in the depth that is being created, and you can make the case for it being a positive year. Should be a fun next month.